We have been learning how to find the equations of linear functions. Our goal has been to get to y equals mx plus b. At first, we did it by using a slope and an intercept. If you're given both of those things, how do you get to slope-intercept form? Next, we looked at what you got, or what path you followed when you're given a slope and any point, how you get to y equals mx plus b. Now we're going to figure out the path we need to take if we're given 2 points. How are we going to get from being given 2 points to y equals mx plus b form? The first thing we need to remember is that slope, rise over run, can be found by using this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is the slope of a line through the 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2. So for example, let's say I had the point 2, 3 and another point negative, 1, 7. What's the slope between these two? Well, let's call this one x1, y1 and this x2, y2, and then we just use that formula, so we end up with 7 minus 3 over negative 1 minus 2. That's going to be 4 over negative 3. So the slope between those 2 points would be 4 over negative 3. What this shows us is that if we're given 2 points, we can always find the slope of the line connecting the 2 points. So being given 2 points is the same thing as being given the slope, or it's functionally equivalent to being given the slope of the line. So let's try finding the answer to this question. Write an equation of a line that passes through the points 1, 6, and 3, negative 4. So first we're going to find the slope. If it helps, you can call that x1, y1, and this x2, y2. So we're going to have negative 4 minus 6, this is our slope, m, over 3 minus 1. It's going to be negative 10 over 2, which is negative 5. So now you can pause and say to yourself, well, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find y equals mx plus b, and we just found the slope. Our slope, negative 5, is going to go right there. So I recommend pausing and writing what you know. You know y is equal to negative 5x plus b. Now we need to find the y-intercept. We're going to do that by plugging either point, and let's say 1, 6, but we could take either point and plug it into this equation to find b. I chose 1, 6 because both numbers are positive. That's just a preference of mine. So remember, in this case, x is 1 and y is 6. So 6 is equal to negative 5, and it's going to be times 1 plus b. So 6 is equal to negative 5 plus b. To isolate b, we're going to need to add 5 to both sides, so 11 equals b. Now we know that b is equal to 11. So we can now write our final equation. Y equals negative 5x plus 11. That is the line through the original 2 points. To sum up, if you're given 2 points and you're trying to find the equation of that line, first find the slope using the equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then find the y-intercept by substituting in the slope m in the coordinates of one of the points. Either one will work. You'll get the same equation. I like the ones with positive numbers, or just pick the one that looks easier to substitute. And then once you find b, you take that and plug it into y equals mx plus b because you already found m in step 1. So find the slope, find the y-intercept, and then write the equation. Let's try another problem. 2 non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if their slopes are negative reciprocals of one another. So perpendicular, you need to remember negative reciprocals of one another. Show that AB and BC are perpendicular. So AB and BC, those are the sides. So AB is right here. Let's find the slope from A to B. In that case, and I'll say the slope of A to B, just to use some notation. Just so you notice, that's the slope of A to B. That's going to be, let's call this x2, y2. We'll call this x1, y1. So that's going to be negative 3 minus 1 over negative 4 minus negative 6. And that's equal to negative 4 over positive 2 So that's going to be negative 2. That tells us the slope from A to B is negative 2. Let's just check that to see if it makes sense. We went over 2, and we went down negative 4, went down 4. So the slope is negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. What about the slope from B to C? The slope from B to C. So that line, B to C, is going to be from here to here. So let's call, for this one, let's call this one x2, y2. We'll just relabel this because we're using it for a different slope, x1, y1. So in this case, it's going to be 0 minus negative 3 over 2 minus negative 4. Subtracting a negative 3 is going to be positive 3. 2 minus negative 4 is 2 plus 4, so that's 6. So that's 1/2. So the slope there, we think, is 1/2. And we think the slope on the other one is negative 2. Let's just check that green one. Does it make sense? Well, you go over 6 and up 3. So that is a slope of over 6 and up 3. So that is a slope of 1/2. So are they perpendicular? Are they negative reciprocals of one another? Well, if you make, what's the reciprocal of 1/2? Well, that's 2. Opposite of 2 is negative 2. So yes, they are perpendicular. Another way to check to see if two lines are perpendicular for the opposite reciprocal property of their slopes is multiply their slopes together, 1/2 times negative 2. You end up with negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. If two numbers multiply together to get negative 1, they have to be opposite reciprocals of one another. Let's try B. Write equations for the lines containing AB and BC. So we know the slope of AB. We know the slope of AB is negative 2. So we know the slope we want is negative 2. And now we just need 1 point. Let's try, we know 2 points. We know negative 6, 1, and we know negative 4, negative 3. Let's try using negative 6, 1. So we know negative 6, 1 is the point. So we know y is equal to negative 2x plus b. So now we just need to find the y-intercept. So we plug in negative 6 for x, so it's negative 2 times negative 6 plus b equals, and our y is 1. So 1 is equal to 12 plus b. Subtract 12 from both sides, and you get b is equal to negative 11. So the equation for the line AB, the one that goes through this, the yellow line right there, is going to be y is equal to negative 2x minus 11. The line through B and C has a slope of 1/2. Remember, it has a slope of 1/2. Which point do we want to use? Let's use 2, 0. So we know the slope is 1/2, and the point is 2, 0. So we're at y is equal to 1/2 x plus b. We know it's 1/2 because that's what the slope is. And now we need to find the y-intercept. So we plug in 2, 0 in here. We know that x is 2 and y is 0. So 0 is equal to 1/2, parentheses, times 2, plus b. Well, 1/2 times 2 is 1. Subtract 1 from both sides, and you get b is equal to negative 1. So now we know the equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 1. To recap, we first learned how to write equations in slope-intercept form by being given the slope and the intercept. Then we learned how to write them given the slope and any point. And now we're learning how to do it with 2 points. Slope, again, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the process we follow is we find the slope, then we find the y-intercept, and then we substitute those values into the equation. Last, perpendicular lines are perpendicular if their slopes are negative reciprocals of one another. So, for example, negative 2 and 1/2. Negative 2 and then the other slope being 1/2. If you multiply those two things together, you get negative 1. I hope you found this video helpful.